Welcome back to Golf Karting TV. I'm your host, Matt White, and today we are doing something special. We've got a brand spotlight with one of the most innovative companies in the golf cart industry. We're talking about Navitas Vehicle Systems, the Canadian powerhouse that is revolutionizing how we think about golf cart controllers, motors, and complete chassis systems. From their headquarters in Waterloo, Ontario, Navitas has been pushing the boundaries of electric vehicle technology, creating some of the most advanced and reliable products on the market. Today, we're going behind the scenes to discover what makes Navitas a leader in our industry. And I think you're going to be impressed with what we found. I got the chance to talk with Todd Dussault, Sales Director at Navitas, who's going to give us the inside story on this incredible company. Todd has been instrumental in helping Navitas grow into the industry leader they are today. So let's start from the beginning and learn how Navitas became the go-to choice for golf cart enthusiasts and dealers alike.
Navitas Vehicle Systems, not necessarily under this name, but we've been in business for pushing 40 years now. Founded here in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. We are at the headquarters where all the magic happens, where our controllers are manufactured. We've been in this facility for about 15 years now. So we produce the TSX 3.0, the TAC2 line, and the TAC3 line here in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada.
So if somebody was to ask, what's the difference between Navitas and any other controller motor that's out there, how would you answer that question?
Let's go with service, and service. Navitas controllers are fully serviceable. So if you needed to repair a thing, that's certainly possible. Navitas has tech support based in Canada, Georgia, Florida. We're taking calls from individuals, dealers, OEMs, distributors, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, always available to help our customers with any questions. We have different controller options depending on what the customer is looking for, how fast they want to go, what type of features they want. Is it a hilly environment, a flat environment? So there's the TSX DC controller, basically a replacement controller for stock DC controls. Speeds up to 25 miles per hour. Not so good not great on hills in comparison to the TAC model, which would be their next step, which is the TAC2. Now that comes in a 440 or a 600. We do get a lot of questions of what's the difference between 440 and 600. Realistically, it's a torque feature, about 25% torque between the 440 and the 600, and we have that in the DC model, the TAC2 model, and then we have the TAC3, which is an 850 amp high performance controller. So then we get a lot of calls from customers that says, "I have X vehicle, which kit do I buy?" Well, we ask the question, what is it you're looking for out of your vehicle? Is it a torquey application, a speed application, slow speed, high speed, hilly? So then we can, and then we talk about budgets. Is your budget sub 1,000, more than 2,000? So let's just say it's a farming individual, low speeds, but with some hills, and they're under budget. So we just go with the TSX 440. It's going to give you speeds of upwards of 20, 25 miles per hour, depending on the battery and such. It's going to be able to creep around the farm pretty good. But let's just say that they have a side-by-side and they want to have similar speeds to that. Then we're going to say go with the AC conversion kit, AC controller, AC motor. It's going to get you speeds of 30 plus miles per hour on flat ground, and it's going to be a performance-driven product.
Now, one thing that sets Navitas apart is their range of controller options. They don't believe in a one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, they've engineered different controllers for different applications and performance levels.
So this is the base model of the TAC2 AC controller. So all TAC controllers start off in this footprint. Once you put the module on the vehicle, then it becomes a Club Car IQ or a TXT or a 1268 or RXV. So the module is the logic between the controller and then the OEM vehicle.
So when it comes to the top end of what you guys produce, this 850 amp controller, tell me a little bit more about that and the application and how people are using that right now.
So, its intensive application is more of a large scale vehicle. Let's call it a VW bug conversion, or maybe a Polaris side-by-side or something like that. But it's taken on it's growing arms in the golf cart racing community. We recently did the bragging rights. 98% of the people there were racing with the 850 7.5 kilowatt kit. in the 330 feet, they were pushing 60 miles per hour. And it came down to reaction time on the light, because you are racing product to product, right? Or Navitas product to Navitas product. So it came down to an individual. But like I said, it's grown legs. People really taking it on. It's a fun aspect of the golf community.
And you see the future of how people are using carts now is becoming, whether I'm racing down a 330-foot track or whether I just am get up and go kind of a guy in my backyard, or on my road, whatever, just as a.
Sure, we want people to buy product based on their application or based on their budget. It doesn't, the 850 is going to be a lot of fun, and it's the people that are using it in that racing community. Does the average person need it? No. The TAC2 600 amp product has been our mainstay product, and it's gonna get the average speed that everybody's looking for, which is 25 to 30 miles per hour. It's going to go beyond that, but it's a nice smooth 25 miles per hour, which is what most regional legal restrictions are. Right. So, is the 850 a bigger, better product? No question. But it's not going to be that product.
Meant for a certain audience, doing a certain thing. Yeah,
exactly.
That's great. What's really impressive about everything we've discussed so far is that it's all happening right there in Canada. From design to manufacturing, Navitas has built something special in the heart of Ontario. This isn't just about patriotic pride. There are real advantages to this approach that benefit customers worldwide.
So this is our headquarters building, all of our admin staff, technical support staff, engineering, and then the manufacturing of the controls is done here at 500 Dotzer, Waterloo, Ontario. We have another facility about a mile down the road, 2 kilometers, depending on where you're from. That's where our chassis production is taking place. Now it's still in its early stages, but that's where the chassis are going to roll out of. Part of one of our larger OEMs requirements, we've pushed forward through ISO qualifications, which is just a check and balance for every product, every board, every torque setting. So yes, each portion of the assembly of a controller has a place and a set of instructions for that process. So and you could have individuals at each station. So one person could be more proficient at the mechanical assembly and somebody at programming. But everybody's cross-trained here anyways. But yes, as we grow, as more production is needed, then each station is set up for an individual process. Navitas currently manufactures its controls in Canada, but it's going to be moving, anything that's been produced overseas is going to be moving into Canada, so motors, harnessing, axles. We want to be able to provide a turnkey drivetrain solution that meets USMCA certifications. So if you're an OE in mid-Ohio and you're looking for a Canadian or North American manufacturer product, you can come to us and we can provide you with a turnkey solution.
The Canadian manufacturing story is impressive, but what really drives innovation at Navitas is their engineering team. These aren't just people assembling components. These are engineers who are constantly pushing the envelope, developing new technologies that keep Navitas ahead of the competition.
So this is the engineering side of our headquarters here in Waterloo. We have about 20 engineers on staff, mechanical, electrical, software, motor engineers. We're trying to develop the ultimate product for our OEMs, for our aftermarket customers. So when somebody comes to us with an idea, we can take it to the brain trust within the company and implement it.
So the purpose of the back-to-back tester is to be able to, it's to test all of the operating points of the loader. So we basically on one side of the dyno, we have a load motor. So the load motor on the far side there is intended just to put a load on the system. So we can either tell that to go to a speed and hold the speed. We can tell it to go to 0 speed. We can tell it to go to a high speed. So we can test any operating point in there. We can test any RPM that the motor is spinning at. And then the test motor that's on the other side of the dyno, we can map every operating point in there. So we can say that if we want to measure from 10 Newton meters on the load motor, we can set it to 10 Newton meters, and we will be able to sweep the other motor, and we'll always have 10 Newton meters of torque on it across the entire RPM range. And as we do that, we can get every operating point inside there. We can measure the efficiency of every operating point. The dyno is we've got a precision load cell on there. We can measure obviously we're measuring the RPM on that. Once we know all of the mechanical power of that, which is, again, your torque and your RPMs, We run that through our power analyzer, and we can get every operating point, get all of the efficiency of the motors of the system. The vehicle dyno, the difference between running everything on a system like this is we get very accurate numbers. When you try doing anything on a vehicle dyno, you have to go through all of the vehicle characteristics. So what's going on inside the bearings of the axle, what's going on in the input shaft bearings, what's going on with tires, how much pressure is on those tires, how hard is it being pulled down onto the dyno. So there's a lot of variability in there. So the vehicle dyno is good for doing an A/B comparison on one specific vehicle, because you set it up on the dyno, you'd make your changes to it, and you can see very quickly as to what's different between the two. But on the motor dynos, we can see every operating point.
We've covered the controllers and motors, but Navitas offers something else that's really exciting: complete rolling chassis systems. This is where all their technology comes together in one comprehensive package. It's not just about individual components anymore. It's about integrated solutions that make building the perfect golf cart easier than ever.
So today we're at the Navitas chassis facility. It's about a mile down the road from our controller facility. This is where we're going to assemble our aluminum chassis, do our final testing on the chassis before they're sent to our warehouse in the U.S. The aluminum chassis features four-wheel disc brakes, all aluminum, heavily engineered. The suspension is phenomenal. It's night and day over our former steel chassis. Again, four-wheel disc brakes, 10-inch screen. It's a weld-free chassis. So when we talk about weld-free, some of the best designs in the industry started out at the Club Car DS, a full aluminum chassis. Now, those chassis are 20, 25 years old now, and the only failure points we've seen are at the welds. So when we designed our aluminum chassis, we took the best of what everybody else was doing. So when we talk about the aluminum chassis, the worst part of the aluminum chassis was the welds. So we went with a aerospace design where it's all bolt together. Got it. And that's part of our patent on that product.
As I walked through the chassis facility with Todd, one thing became crystal clear. Navitas does not cut corners. If anything, their approach could be described as almost over-engineered. And that's exactly what you want when you're talking about the foundation of your golf cart build.
The evolution of the golf cart is people are looking for their golf carts to be more automotive spec. So you're not really buying a car these days that doesn't have a touchscreen in it. So we've developed a touchscreen that brings in those creature comforts of your automobile, including little touchscreens where you can turn your headlights on or put the card from forward to reverse, all within the screen. Lockout screens for security purposes, your speed, your voltage, Apple CarPlay, the Google Maps, all that stuff can run through that screen. The Navitas chassis features the four-wheel disc brakes, the Navitas axle with the EMB on the axle versus on the motor. So that does help dissipate some of the heat that you'll see on some of the other products out there, moving the brake to the axle and off of the motor. So we talk about, the custom cart golf cart dealer, right? They put one of our bare chassis in their showroom. Customer walks in and says, "What's this all about?" Well, you have this as your starting platform. From here, you can choose wheels, tires, battery, the different body styles, different seats, and build their ultimate custom cart versus buying a cookie cutter cart that's out there. And yeah, that's been huge for this product line. Yeah.
What we've seen today at Navitas really showcases why they've become such a trusted name in our industry. From their advanced controllers and powerful motors to their precision engineered chassis systems, everything is designed with the end user in mind. The fact that they're doing all of this in Canada with their own engineering team and manufacturing facilities means they have complete control over quality and innovation. Whether you're a golf cart dealer looking for reliable components or an enthusiast planning your next build, Navitas has proven that they have the technology, the expertise, and the commitment to help you succeed. Thanks for joining us in this brand spotlight, and thanks to Todd and the entire Navitas team for showing us what goes into building some of the best products in the golf cart industry. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. We will see you back here next Wednesday at noon for another episode of Golf Carting TV.